Welcome to Today Rocket Science. I'm Adam Balkin. Students across the country are enjoying the summer months and a brief break from school. But what kinds of activities are keeping your mind active and thinking about science, technology, engineering, and math? Coming up, we'll take a look at different ways you stayed involved this summer to keep your mind sharp and focused on STEM, and we'll check in with what some of your teachers have been doing. We'll head to Ohio for a competition steeped in tradition, where students are finding an unlikely lesson in physics, and onto the international field as athletes prepare for the Winter Olympics and tell us how science plays a part in competition. We'll also journey to the depths of the ocean and far reaches of Earth's history as we check out more ways students across the country are taking advantage of summer to get involved in STEM. All part of Time Warner Cable's Connect a Million Minds campaign to get you educated and interested in science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities in your community. To join the conversation during the show, tweet @ConnectMinds and share your thoughts. All right, but before we get to all that, check out this cutting-edge science news about a plane that flies without fuel. They call it Solar Impulse, a plane that runs solely on power from the sun. The plane made its way from San Francisco to New York City, making stops across the country, and is the first of its kind to be able to fly day and night.
This airplane is the only airplane which has almost limitless endurance. It could fly a week.
The plane arrived at JFK to a welcoming party and made its home in the hangar, where it was on display for the general public.
I'm really interested in airplanes, and I thought this was a really cool thing. I've always wanted to make a solar-powered aircraft, so this is like my one chance to see one.
The plane was visited by more than 75,000 people over the course of its 3,500-mile trip. The next step for Solar Impulse is an attempt at a trip around the world in 2015. Not far from JFK Airport, where Solar Impulse made its final stop, students are hitting the beaches, but not in the way you might think. They're learning about the science behind coastal ecosystems and the importance of restoration.
This isn't your typical summer internship. Students participating in the Nature Conservancy's Leaders in Environmental Action for the Future, or LEAF, are getting waist deep in science as they explore the marshes along New York's coast.
Immediately as I stepped on, I saw a horseshoe crab, and I learned how to distinguish if it's a male or a female.
Science really is everywhere around us, so young people should definitely find something that they like that contributes to science.
Students in the LEAF program get the opportunity to travel across the country to do environmental work. And for these students in New York, to see how nature can help protect the city from potential future events similar to Hurricane Sandy.
Nature has a big role to play here. So sand dunes, marshes, seagrass beds, coastal forests, those are all things that help protect us in New York or New Jersey or wherever you are on the coast.
I figured why not help and give back and learn more about nature.
For many of these young people, it's a step towards a future career.
I actually would like to pursue a career in environmental engineering. So I figure anything with science or nature kind of ties in.
For now, these students are working on getting us all one step closer to a greener tomorrow. For 8 Rocket Science, I'm Rochelle Boone.
So we've talked about how solar energy fuels a plane and how some New York City teens are connecting with the world around them, but students in upstate New York are using light to get insight into a different world, the digital world. They're spending their summer at Monroe Community College in Rochester, or MCC, learning how the science of light applies to the electronics you use every day. Mike Adine has a story.
Under the guidance of local optics professionals and educators, 26 high school students are getting hands-on experience in the optics field. Using a variety of technologies, students work in teams building devices such as an LCD projector.
Lots of optics are used for making your iPhones, your computers, your laser surgery for your eyes, you name it.
Job opportunities is what attracted many students to this camp, and MCC is the only 2-year college in the country to offer an optical systems program.
I really wanted to figure out what it was about, and so one of the teachers offered me this camp, and so I figured I'd go try it out, and actually it's pretty fun.
Beginning next year, students will be able to take an optics course in high school and at the same time earn college credit through MCC. Those enrolled in this camp will be a step ahead when that course is implemented. MCC is sponsoring the camp with the Rochester Regional Photonics Cluster, a nonprofit organization whose members represent the top optics and imaging companies in the world. Many of them donated staff, equipment, and funds to make this camp possible. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Mike Hedin.
And the engineering doesn't stop there in Rochester. Some students are learning how to crack the code in the wireless world and seeing how Time Warner Cable engineers get the signal into your home. It's all part of a day camp geared towards all aspects of math, science, and technology. The event was sponsored by Time Warner Cable through its Connect a Million Minds initiative, and students got to meet and interact with employees from Time Warner Cable.
They're learning how the wireless signal gets in, how things are encrypted, and really showing the behind the scenes of it. The kids are really learning a lot, having fun with it. We really try to teach it in a more fun environment.
It's always going to be in my job because I want to be an engineer. So I think it's just going to help me in everything I do.
I didn't know how information travels in terms of how big it is. In a world of growing technology, what's not to like? And you need to know, or else you're not going to be able to understand when it expands and gets better.
To find more hands-on science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities, visit the Connectory at connectamillionminds.com. In Syracuse, high schoolers are taking science to the next step and getting a taste of collegiate life a few years early. Our Katie Gibbous is on campus with the report.
You could be looking at the next generation of scientists, engineers, and mathematicians.
I wanted to try something different. Engineering, I've always thought about it, but I just wanted to, see how it went, and it turned out pretty good.
There's loads of opportunities. You can do robotics, you can do math, you can do science, and those are all three things I really like.
The summer camp is part of a year-long program where students will compete at colleges around the country.
They'll get to see other places, other colleges. They'll get to hear about what other students do. They'll get to visit other places that normally they would not be able to do. They'll know what's expected at that next level.
I think I want to go into something with technology now that I'm a little bit more experienced and I'm able to have fun doing it.
And students say the hands-on experience is helping them prepare for college and beyond. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Katie Gibbous.
And New York's not alone in its summer STEM program. Students in Austin are turning up the heat as they tackle engineering robots from a kit of parts. Jess Mitchell has the story.
A complex project, one that will take hours to complete.
We kept on messing up because me and my partner kept on putting them in the wrong places.
Still, Frankie Merez is up for the challenge.
I like fixing problems.
Problem solving into the future. 120 kids participate in the East Austin College Prep STEM Camp.
The goal is to combat learning loss. In the summer, what we see is a lot of kids really fall back on learning.
Not this group. They're spending their summer studying environmental science, nutrition, space, and robotics.
We do everything from small machines, pulleys, levers, to the more advanced robotics where we bring in contractors that bring in kits for kids to actually do robotics, build different things, and program them.
The company Learning Fun 101 brings these kits. The kids look up the instructions on the laptop and then they build the projects. Projects designed for ages 6 through 13. Some take up to 3 hours.
And that's how we can get smarter and smarter and smarter, and we'll keep going and going and going.
Perhaps going towards a career in one of these fields.
I want to be a mechanic and an engineer.
An engineer who already has designs on a very bright future. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Jess Mitchell.
All right, so we've covered what you've been doing all summer, but what about your teachers? Coming up, we'll take a look at how some of your teachers kept busy this summer and got involved in science, technology, engineering, and math as they take off to learn more about the science behind flight. To find out more about Time Warner Cable's Connect a Million Minds initiative, visit connectamillionminds.com during the break.